On Sunday, March 17th, 2013, humor was banned for all developers. You want to make a joke about dongle sizes? Banned. You want to make a joke about forking? Don't even think about it. Banned. On that day, a random picture of two developers was taken and a tweet followed. Not cool. Jokes about forking repos in a sexual way and big dongles right behind me, hashtag Pycon. Little did anyone involved know this tweet would blow up and be deemed as the Pycon Incident. According to the original poster, at 2013 Pycon, she overheard an inappropriate conversation between the two developers. The guy in blue made an inappropriate forking and dongle joke that she did not care for. We don't know the exact joke, but I'm assuming he turned to his friend and he said, "Would you fork my dongle?" If this tweet was made by some random Joe Schmo, it most likely would have died down and the saga would have not continued. However, this tweet was made by Adria Richards, and for those of you who don't know, she was a fairly well-known person in the tech scene as a developer evangelist. She had thousands of followers, one of which was Barack Obama at the time. The tweet blew up. It got so big that the Pycon officials themselves saw it and had to put out an official statement. They had met with Adria and the two developers and talked everything out. The two developers had apologized and things seemed good. They weren't officially kicked out, but they had left out of their own volition. All wells that ends well. But as you can see by the YouTube timeline, the story isn't over yet. The developer who made the original forking dongle joke went to give his side of the story on Hacker News. "Hi, I'm the guy who made a comment about big dongles. First of all, I'd like to say I'm sorry. I really did not mean to offend anyone, and I really do regret the comment and how it made Adria feel. She had every right to report me to staff, and I defend her position. However, there is another side to this story. While I did make a big dongle joke about a fictional piece of hardware that identified as a male, no sexual jokes were made about forking. My friends and I decided forking someone's repo is a new form of flattery, the highest form being implementation. And we were excited about one of the presenters' projects. A friend said I would fork that guy's repo. The sexual context was applied by Adria and not us. My second comment is this: Adria has an audience and is a successful person of the media. Just check out her webpage linked in her Twitter account. Her hard work and social activism speaks for itself. With great power and reach comes responsibility. As a result of the picture she took, I was let go from my job today, which sucks because I have 3 kids and I really like that job. She gave me no warning. She smiled while snapping the picture of me that sealed my fate. Let this serve as a message to everyone. Our actions and words, big or small, can have serious impact. I will be at Pycon 2014. I will joke and socialize with everyone, but I also will be mindful of my audience, accidental or otherwise. Again, I apologize." Turns out Adria had only slightly overheard the joke behind her in a private conversation and had turned around, snapped a picture without consent of either people in the picture, and then had posted it all over her social medias. She then notified Pycon officials to get those two developers kicked out, which they were not kicked out. They actually left on their own volition after profusely apologizing for their actions. And since this became such a big scandal, he got fired from his job for his dongle and forking joke, which was only intended for his friend and overheard by Adria slightly, then taken out of context. This switched the internet's outrage from those two developers to Adria specifically, because in snapping that picture, she herself broke Pycon's rules because you are not allowed to take pictures of attendees without their consent. She had also cost him his job, implicating that he was a sexist. With this much backlash, Adria herself responded, "Hey, thanks for speaking up, contributing your viewpoint on Hacker News, and not attacking me. I'm sorry to hear your employer decided to not work with you on this, and I hope they reconsider, bring you back on, and deal with it constructively." For context, I am a developer evangelist. That means I'm an advocate for developers, male and female. While I hear about demanding bosses with impossible deadlines for product launches, I also hear about experiences of women working at startups. In both cases, I offer suggestions, ideas, and mentoring to help the developers become problem solvers. Sometimes the answers are API or not answering emails after 7 p.m., while other times it's about being assertive and shedding imposter syndrome. The forking joke set the stage for the dongle joke. Yes, this time I decided I didn't want to argue my perspective. I decided instead to accept it bothered me and took action based on Pycon code of conduct. It sounds like if I'd said something about the forking, you would have denied it having a sexual association. Not sure if I smiled, but I'm also unsure what facial expression you would have expected. I just got done writing the blog post. You can read it here. Sadly, this blog post is not reachable. However, in this reply, Adria just doubles down that her perspective is the correct perspective. She said she was sorry that he got fired, but she did not apologize for taking a picture and never getting his consent for it, and then sharing it across the internet. And she still retained the position that he was a sexist by making this joke. Even though at this Pycon convention, he had recruited 2 women for junior and intern roles at the company he had been working at. Even after getting fired, he tried to make sure they went through to his manager and got jobs. From all of his interactions and messages, he seems like a fairly decent guy who had no ill intention and got fired over a joke that was made in private. With this outrage, Adria herself got fired because the company she was working for as a developer evangelist had too much backlash from the incident. The internet rallied behind this guy and a plethora of job opportunities came his way with DMs flooding in. This put a stain on Adria's legacy, and after 2016, she completely vanished, stopped posting, and took down her blog. But I think anyone who's worked as a developer knows how many innuendos are made by both male and female developers, because some of these words are just funny. We have to admit, forking is kind of funny. Dongle is kind of funny. Both of those combined create the perfect joke. But you know what makes an even better combination? Me plus you. So I hope you make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be posting more often, and I'm going to try to make blog posts that are related to every video I make, so make sure you check out basicdev.blog, and thanks for watching.